let us continue our study on the loving kindness Sutta, Karaniya Metta Sutta. It discourse on loving kindness, the good should be done. Now we've finished the first half more or less, and we're looking at the different methods of loving kindness cultivation. You remember there are 4 methods. The first method is given on page 66. Cultivation of loving kindness is called the being method, or beings that show loving kindness to all kinds of beings everywhere. Then second method is called the social method, where we send our loving kindness to people around us, especially in our families, office, or wherever we are. Now, these 2 methods are gradually building up our practice of loving kindness. You might say that the first method is very general. All beings be well and happy, whatever beings, what kind they are. So it's very good if you're in the forest, for example, any kind of new place. When you have just bought a new house, or you are going to a new building, hotel, whatever. It's a very good meditation. It's the first method. Then page 67 is that you have B, second method, where you send to all the people all around you, your workplace, people you are with. And then it becomes a bit deeper now. Third method. I call it the mother method, because this is the only verse, this is the only place in the whole sutta where you have a parable of the mother and the only child. Verse 7. Mata yata niyang puttang ayusa eka putta manurakke evampi sabba bhutesu manasam bhavaye aparimanam. Mata yata niyang puttang. Mata is mother, yata means life, niyang puttang, her own child. And then second line, ayusa, with her own life. Eka putang, only child, anurakke, guards. So it just as a mother would guard her one and only child with her own life. Evampi, even so. Sabba bhutesu, towards all beings. Manasam bhavaye. Bhavaye means cultivate. That one cultivate. Manasam means the mind or heart. Aparimanam. Parimanam means limited, measured. Aparimanam. No measurement. Boundless. Right? So, in other words, here is where we all are connected in many lives in the past. So we have been brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, relatives, all kinds of connection. And the fact that we are gathered here for Sutta study shows that we have some very strong connections from the past. So it's very important we build this kind of connection, make it happier and happier. Like I've said many times before, there are 2 ways that we connect with people, and we return again and again in the future. One way is the happy way, right? We wish people well, we love them. The other one is to hate them, to be angry with them. You get stuck together also. So you can imagine love after life, torturing each other, terrible, isn't it? That is why we should even send loving kindness to people who do not like us, especially to people who do not like us. But of course, it's not easy. Don't force yourself if you can't, because it won't be loving kindness. Be very negative, right? And it's going to hurt you, your negative emotions. So here, it's very important to build up your loving kindness first. And once you feel ready, just stress a bit, Picture somebody who doesn't like you and say, be well and happy. And you find that can be done, and then you go on doing that, becomes very natural. And then next thing is you find you won't get angry even when you meet such people. Even if they hurt you, or they are hurting you, you still don't get angry, you don't get upset. You might even feel compassion for them because you understand that people who hurt you are naturally not happy people. Either they're not happy or they are worried about their positions or about power, or maybe they don't know what to do, or they just have lots of problems and they don't know how to treat other people with kindness. So you've got to show them compassion. The rule is very simple. If people are very happy, they won't hurt other people. If they are very happy, you will keep the precepts easily. So this is how the loving kindness works. Loving kindness supports your precept practice. So this is where you imagine everyone else, brothers, sisters, relatives, friends, even your children. If you're a school teacher, it's a very wonderful meditation. You're a very good teacher. So this is the mother meditation. You can try a father meditation if you like. It's not as powerful. The mother has that amazing connection with their child. In a sense, we are all flesh and blood from our mother, so to speak. Right? So the connection is more powerful. But imagine, if you are close to your brother, like our two children, we plan ahead. We make sure we have two children so that they close together, not only they are, no matter what, they are very close together. They love each other, they defend each other when there's problems. So you use that feeling and you send it to other people. So this is learning from love, learning to love. We have to learn to love. Because if we don't learn to love, even our marriages won't be successful. No matter how many times we're married, become like Henry VIII, 6 wives, still not happy. And the wife who loved him, the great wife, died during childbirth. Poor man, poor king. So this is where we need a lot of loving kindness. Otherwise, we have a lot of failed marriages, and then we start becoming Buddhist leaders. And then we start hurting other people. We're rather sad. So we got to learn to be happy. Then we have a family, we're happy, then we share the happiness with other people, and we become happy leaders. It would be wonderful, isn't it? That's why this loving kindness meditation is so important. And of course, some people may say, I've been doing it, how come it doesn't work, But maybe we didn't get the Sutta background, we didn't get the Dharma background. We got to know what you're doing. You got to feel it. Meditation is feeling it. You're not just saying it, you got to feel it. You say the words, and then you must be silent, Because if you are saying it, you are still talking, Yes, may I be well, or may you be well, and then silence, and then send out your feeling. But even then, it's not really very deep, because after that you feel really peaceful, very joyful, then you just sit quietly, just let the joy feel up. So this is the third method. Now the fourth method, this is called the direction method. This is the one usually close the meditation. Mettancha sappa lokasmin manasam bhavaya parimana udang adocha tiriyancha asambadang averang asapattam. Mettancha sappa lokasmin. Here cha is like a conjunction joining words. Mettancha sappa lokasmin. Sappa, all, lokasmin, in the world. And let one cultivate loving kindness to all the world. Actually, the cultivate is the second line. Bhavaye. Manasam again, the mind, the heart. Aparimanam, here you are there. Aparimanam again, boundless, measureless. And let one cultivate to all the world a boundless heart of loving kindness. Or if you like, you can also translate. And let one cultivate loving kindness to all the world with a boundless heart. Also can. Sometimes I try to go line by line, but it's not always that you can get what's called interlinear translation. Sometimes they overlap a bit. So here, the two lines should be read together. Third line is okay. Udang means above, those below. Tiriyan is across. Above, below, and across. Yeah? Above, below, and across refers to the 6 directions. In our closing, we say front directions, right hand, back, left, below, above, right? So across here refers to front, right, back, and left. Okay? The details are given in other suttas. Then Asambadan, unhindered, not narrow. Sambada means narrow, right? Hindered. Averang, without any hatred. You might say, how come loving kindness meditation can have hatred? Because sometimes, especially in beginner's class, we meditate and then we come to the third part, fourth part, we say, may this person I don't like, be very unhappy, and then suddenly the thought say, why should I do it? This person doesn't deserve it. Right? So this averang. Averang means anger. Averang means without anger. Asapatang, without enmity, dislike. Without treating anyone as an enemy, right? In a sense, there are no enemies. It's just people we do not know well yet, people we don't understand yet. Verse 9. Ditang charang nisinowa sayanowa yawatasa vigatamito etang sating aditeya brahma metang viharang idamahu. Ditang means standing, charang walking or moving, and nisino sitting. Wa means all. Standing, moving, sitting, or sayano, wa, lying down. So these are the 4 gestures humanly possible. Flying is not included. Flying is actually going.
Moving.
Of course, if you're Superman, you're flying, so if you show loving kindness. As long as one is not drowsy, vikata middho. Vikata means gone, without. Metta is sleepiness, drowsiness. In other words, as long as you are awake, you are mindful, cultivate loving kindness, especially driving your car. This driving instructor should instruct every driver. You want loving kindness, especially in Singapore. In Singapore, somehow drivers can be very impatient, even at the zebra crossing. They try to cut across. Cutting across is a national habit. It's very bad, very rude actually. In Thailand you find this, I lived in Thailand for so long, we always allow the monks to, the right of way, so to speak. We allow the elders right of way. We never cut across people's path. The guy is very rude. Here they love doing that. Sometimes it's a challenge when you walk. So this is where. And there are occasions, of course, there are funny occasions when I meet another kind person. Both of us stop, hoping on the other to go first. And very often I have to say, okay, go ahead, please. And then that's very nice to know people actually quite polite. So standing, walking, sitting, or lying down, as long as we are not drowsy, we should keep loving kindness. So this is one special meditation where you can do in all 4 postures. And we should. If we are not doing other meditation, loving kindness is there all the time. And there are really great benefits here. For example, you just feel happy no matter what. Even when there are problems, you feel there's nothing bad. You just know what to do. You just do what's right next. Some people, small problem, they get so flustered, so worried, panic, and that makes things worse. So this is where loving kindness tell you, it's okay, it's alright. Everything will pass. Just be at peace with yourself. It's a very wonderful practice. So, etang sating, this mindfulness. Etang is this, sating is mindfulness. Aditeya should be established, should be kept. I try to use simple word here. One should keep this mindfulness. maintain this mindfulness. Brahman. Okay, here again you see there's a unending. So when we read, we must read it as one word, Brahma Metta. Okay? But the spelling is like this, Brahman Metta. A lot of people, when they write puja books, they don't know Pali, they memorize something and then they simply write it. Then they write it down as Brahma and then Metang. It is wrong spelling. Of course, if you don't know Pali, it makes no difference. But you know Pali, you start feeling sad. You say, oh dear, why those people don't respect Pali? It's nice if you spell it correctly because it's a religious scripture. You've got to make it as accurate as possible. Brahman here means perfect, excellent, highest if you like. Just like the word Brahma. Brahma is the name of a high-level god. But here's an adjective, Brahma. Etang, this. Etang vihara, nothing same ending. Vihara means dwelling. You know, we have a monastic vihara, right? But here it is abstract. It means how we live, our mental state. This mental state, if you like, this lifestyle, this mental lifestyle. So now Brahman Vihara, they go together. So here Brahma Vihara has been separated into two. Okay, so we should read it as Brahma Vihara, divine abode. In fact, Brahma Vihara can be translated in so many ways. You remember I told you, you can translate as divine abode, translate as divine qualities, the four immeasurables, the four qualities of a leader, the four qualities of a teacher, the four professional qualities, the four positive emotions, and so on, depending on what you want to teach. But in meditation, they are loving kindness, compassion, gladness, and equanimity. But here, the sutta only talks about loving kindness, because in reality, all the four are various refinement or stages of loving kindness actually. So you've got to build up your loving kindness first to all beings. And then when you apply this loving kindness to people who are suffering, you show this loving kindness to them. That's compassion. Your loving kindness moves you to action. And then people are happy, successful. Then because of your loving kindness, you say, oh, very good, sadhu, I'm happy that you are successful, you're happy. This is the feeling. All right? We have to be very careful not to end up repeating things and without feeling. For example, sometimes nowadays you might see in some letters, people like to say mega metta. I wonder whether they mean it or not. How do you make mega metta? Because you say metta is already quite great. You say mega metta, if I meet you, are you going to be nice to me? So you wonder. So people, they write big words, when you really meet them, you find they don't keep up with their words. So don't let your words fall into inflation. Then they become valueless. So the important thing is the thought. When you have the thought, then your words become natural, and people know it's so beautiful. That is why whenever I write the reflection, I'm very careful. I got to make sure I'm in the right mood. Some days I won't write the reflection. The best time for writing my reflection is when it's very quiet. Maybe late in the night, the magic time, 10 to 2 a.m. Remember the time that Devas have here? Or maybe early in the morning. Sometimes I just get up, my mind gets up first, my body's still sleeping. And this beautiful thought comes to my mind. And in a sense, I have no choice, but quickly go to the toilet and after that, go to the computer and then write it down. In fact, sometimes I have no choice. I have to write this idea. So beautiful. And if something is beautiful, it also makes people happy. That's what is so wonderful about it. And I make thousands of friends through these happy letters. And this is a very famous way of writing. Lots of famous teachers in the past have been doing this. These are called epistles. Letters sent out to people to make them happy. Right, so then the last word is Ida Mahu. Ida means here. in this world. The word loke means either loke, in this world or in this teaching. Ahu, it is said, right? The M is added in there to join either mahu, so easy to pronounce. So all this splitting of spelling is very important. So you look at it, you begin to know how it is spelled, how the sentences are constructed. So if you do all this, if you do this practice, you are living like a god. You don't have to go to heaven, here on earth. This is what happened in the Buddha's time, very similar to today actually. There were these Brahmins. They are like those evangelists and those preachers. They say, oh, you got to believe in God, and come for prayers and rituals, then only you go to heaven. And you only go to heaven if you come. Let us perform the right rituals for you. But the Buddha said, look at all these priests, they talk about God, but do they behave like God? God is not married, but they are married. God doesn't give you money, they charge you for all these things. So how can they send you to heaven? But if you cultivate yourself, the qualities of Brahma, you yourself will experience those qualities. And as you know, Brahma famously is depicted as having 4 faces. In other words, he's able to see all the 4 directions at the same time. In fact, if you take that 4 faces as superior, that thought just came to me. I would say a chicken is superior to us, because our eyes are 2 in front. Whereas chicken, they see both sides. You must imagine, it's not easy to see both sides. In other words, it's like 180 degrees, so you've got to be aware, you must know how to react. Your mind works differently. And here, 4 directions, right? It's even, you've got to be much more aware, so to speak. But here the meaning is the 4 Brahma Viharas. So you see Brahma depicted with 4 faces. Front is loving kindness, and the next one is compassion, and then gladness, and then equanimity. So Brahma is all the time aware of everything around him. The 4 direction means everywhere. And he's always there to make sure people are happy. So the Buddhists and the ancient Indians have a very happy conception of their God, capital G God. But the Buddhists don't worship him. In fact, if you go to the traditional temples, especially Thai temples, before someone gives a Dhamma talk, they invite Brahma to come and listen. So in other words, you're inviting God to come and listen. You don't go there to pray to God. Say, hey, oh God, please come and listen to the Dhamma preaching for your own good, And in a sense, we are reenacting the time when Brahma came down to invite the Buddha to teach. Brahma, Chalokati, Pati, Sarampati, and so on. We said, oh God, out of the world, come listen to the Dhamma. Remember, he invited the Buddha to teach. On bended knees, he was imploring the Buddha to teach. So here the Buddha says you can cultivate all these qualities inside you. It is right here inside you. And this is the new religion, never taught before. The other religion always tell you, you must do rituals. Right? And the ritual means things outside. But here Buddha says, no, it's inside you. You have to do it inside you. So you cultivate this, then you become just like Brahma. Because you're going to behave happy, and you bring happiness to others. And the last verse says, Dittincha anupagamma silava gassanena sampanno kamesu vinaya gedam nahi jatu gappaseyam punareti. So the last T is the close quote. You see there is a circumflex over the second I. It's called a circumflex. With that sharp point is at the bottom, it's called a carat. Ditting. Ditting simply means views. Some people translate as wrong views. The thing is, when you're meditating, you have no views at all, right view or wrong view. Just let go of all views. Anupagamma. Not falling into wrong views. sila, keep to your precepts. Because if you don't keep the precepts, you have to meditate. You feel trouble. So you think of the times when you have kept your precepts. Don't worry about those times when you have to struggle to keep the precepts. For example, remember that time, like here, you're studying Sutta, sitting peacefully, or doing puja, when you've gone for retreat. And when you think of those moments you have kept the precept, you feel very happy. This energy comes to you, and you're able to meditate. Now, dasanena comes from dasana. Dasana simply means to see. In fact, in the dictionary, dasana and ditti have the same meaning, to see. But ditti usually refers to views by way of wrong view, whereas dasana usually refers to, in Buddhism, to right view, right way of seeing things. It's very close to vipassana also, which also has the idea of views, right view. So, sampanno, accomplished in insight. So you notice the word insight. It means here you use loving kindness for insight. It's very interesting. How do you use loving kindness for insight? Some teachers, some people may tell you, oh, no need to do loving kindness. It's not very helpful. It's not even the Buddhist practice. But the point is, you find that hundreds of suttas, maybe thousands of suttas, you count the short ones, there's so many teaching about metta, loving kindness. It's a very important practice. If you don't have metta, how can you be happy? In fact, you don't have metta, for many people, they can't meditate. But there are a lot of issues to deal with. So here, loving kindness for many people helps to clear away their unhappy thoughts. You accept yourself as you are. You accept other people as they are. At least for the duration of the meditation, you feel your mind is clear and peaceful and happy. So once your mind is peaceful and clear, then you enjoy it as long as you like. Don't think about anything at that time. Just enjoy the peace. Because the more you do that, the more your mind settles, you become clear, you can think better after that. Then when you come out of the clarity of mind, it depends what you do then. Okay, so if you are not a Buddhist, you probably wouldn't know what to do. So this is what defines a Buddhist. Whether you call yourself so or not doesn't matter. If you come out of the meditation and then you say, oh, this is impermanent, all mind-made, then you're a Buddhist. Right? But if you come out of it and you say, oh, wonderful, this is God, you're not a Buddhist. You can be a member of any Buddhist organization, you're still not a Buddhist. Because then you didn't practice properly. So if you come out and you say, oh, impermanent, mind-made, then vision will arise, dasana. Then you become accomplished in insight. Because you begin to see even this wonderful metta is impermanent. So if metta is impermanent, evil also impermanent. So they all pass. So you better appreciate metta, be just in metta when it arises. So you reflect on impermanence. Impermanence means, number one, we have a chance to change. Number two, if good things happen, they will pass away quickly, so we must reflect on them. That's the only way you can keep them. Even if you record them, they're just pixels and sounds. But when you listen, you practice, then it becomes clear. Imagine what is transferring from here. You're watching me in this show here. There's nothing transferring from me to you. By the time you're watching this, I'm already dead, I think. So you find, what is being transferred? Nothing is being transferred. But you are rearranging your mind, you are looking at your mind in a new way, and you feel at peace with yourself. And this is the secret of the Dharma, where you become your own teacher. You put together this peacefulness and then say, oh yes, I can feel this peacefulness. And then you reflect all this as impermanent. This is what the line means. Kamesu vinaya gedam. Having discarded greed for sense pleasures. Kamesu, sense pleasures. Gedam means desire. Vinaya, meaning getting rid of. We can also translate this, one should get rid of it. Also can. So here, notice the sequence. So insight arises in you, then you get rid of sensual pleasure. Because sensual pleasure is very difficult to get rid of. You got to attain at least non-returner to really get rid of sensual pleasures. So even stream winner, non-returners have some sensual desire. Of course, they'll never break the precepts. So here, how do you get rid of sensual pleasures? By experiencing a joy that is higher than what your senses can give. So you have two kinds of pleasure. You have the pleasure that's given by your five senses. These are not very powerful because why? So impermanent, and you got to pay so much attention. It's tiring, and the Buddha says it takes time. The Buddha, that's the joke about it, says it is time consuming. The Buddha says that's sensual pleasure, and it is passing so fast that you find you're not satisfied with it, and then you have too much of it, you get sick of it. It's like eating too much those salted fried potatoes. It's very nice to eat. You eat too much, you feel sick after that. So that's sensual pleasure like that. So in other words, here, what is the meaning is that if you are a lay person, you can still enjoy sensual pleasures, but to keep the precepts means you know when to stop. You know when to stop. That's the meaning. So here, there is another kind of pleasure, this mental pleasure, which doesn't depend on the senses. It's a jhana meditation. It's joyful. So the monks and nuns are supposed to practice this so that they are so happy mentally, they do not need bodily pleasure anymore. So that's the safety that we have. When you're able to enjoy a truly higher pleasure, you find the physical pleasure is not so enticing anymore. So that's the other higher level of training, if you like, the path of non-return and arahathood. But as lay people, you can still keep the precepts, enjoy sensual life, karma bodhi, as the sutta says, within the spirit of the five precepts. In other words, you can get married, have children, make money with your work, but you are always within the spirit of the five precepts and you are happy. But here, the sentence means you're able to get rid of sensual pleasure altogether. In that case, then the last line comes in. Nahi jatu gappa seyam punareti. Nahi, no more. He here is a stress word. Indeed, jatu, to be born, to come back. Gappa means room actually, but here it means the womb. Seya, for lying down, the room for lying down. So this is the womb. Punna means again, and then you got eti. Eti means to come. Eti can also mean go, but here can be in either way. Here means return to lie in the womb. In other words, if you can use loving kindness, you reflect on impermanence, cultivate and build up your insight, then you can attain arahathood also. You attain arahathood, no more rebirth. So this is quite a sutta, very short and simple, and yet the Buddha says here you can attain arahathood even practicing this metta. So the sutta ends there. Any question? You can also use this sutta for meditation. For example, you take the sutta, especially the first part. There are two versions here. This second version which we are using is the study version. Then you have for the reflection one. The reflection one is on page 63 and 64. It's just the sutta. So read the English one. Of course, you are very good with the Pali. You can also read the Pali. And maybe just take one paragraph and then reflect on it. And the next meditation, another paragraph. And you feel very peaceful, just sit and let the calmness come to you like that. So if you are a beginner, you find it difficult to meditate, that's one way to build up your calmness strength bit by bit. Any questions? Yeah? Now, right, today we have a short meeting to discuss our translation. So we'll end here. Let's do a short reflection. And today we have completed our study on the Karaniya Metta Sutta, on how to practice loving kindness. What should be done if you want to cultivate loving kindness? Loving kindness is the way to live like gods, to live like angels, if you like. Loving kindness immunizes us from the world's sufferings. In other words, we're able to work, to be happy no matter what. And it is also a very wonderful tool we can use to heal other people, to help them. Ultimately, loving kindness is what will help Buddhism work and spread effectively and truly. It's something intended by the Buddha through his teachings. Reflecting in this way is good mental karma. But the powers of such good karma, various other good deeds we have been doing, our faith in the three jewels, our practice of the precepts, our practice of generosity, and many other good deeds, where all this power of this good karma in our minds quickly focus. Maybe in this life itself, we attain spiritual liberation, namely stream winning. In this peaceful moment, let us send our loving kindness to all beings, wherever they are, especially people, to those who are suffering, that they may be uplifted from their suffering, and to those who are far from the Dharma, that they will come closer to the Dharma. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.